Um, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information regarding reimbursement. So volunteer teachers reimbursement requests. And this can be a very simple thing for you. I know some of you are new, some of you are familiar. So just really quickly, I'm going to share with you a few things. First of all, the budget allows for teaching supplies, which would be a $50 amount for the entire seminary year, meaning from when you begin in this month through to the end of, say, May. So anything that you need for a teaching supply, you are allowed up to $50 through seminaries and institutes budgets. But if you have something else that is necessary and you really feel that you would like that and talk to your state representatives, and they might be able to help you as well. Oh, and I'll definitely keep receipts. That'll be the first thing. Thank you very much. So any receipts that you have, keep the original receipts. If you can be as best as possible to keep only the items that you're going to be using for seminary on separate receipts. The other thing would be student activities. That might be something like treats in the classroom, donuts in the morning, or something of that effect. It's a minimal amount, it's $4 per student, but it's helpful and it enhances your class, then go ahead and do that. And again, if you need further assistance, just talk to your state. Keep the original receipts, and you can turn them in monthly, or you can turn them in at the end of the semester, and then again at the end of the semester. We'll send reminders to you for that. And the last thing would be mileage, and that's the amount at 14 cents per mile through IRS guidelines. Yes.
I'm sorry. So the teaching supplies are $50 per year.
Right.
What about student? Is that
per the year also? So if you say have 10 kids in your class, that's a $40 budget. Kind of stick around that amount would be great. Yes.
So if you're
Right. I'll show you that just right now. Thank you. So again, with the mileage for seminary is, for instance, you're home to this building today and back home again. You can count those miles. Anything from maybe your home is a long distance to the chapel, perhaps. You can count those miles also. Round trip. Okay. What I'm going to show you here is a payee setup form. First thing you would do, your AA, which would be myself, Sister Walker, or Sister Nehring, has copies of these that we can send to you by email. You would fill this form out, which just includes your name, etc., and how you would like to receive the payment returned to you. The easiest is just put your bank routing number on there, and the church sends it right to your deposits, right to your account. The second thing that you would fill out is what's called your non-employee reimbursement request form. And this is just to show you what it looks like. And completing it is quite simple. First thing you would do is make sure your name and everything is on there, your ward where you are teaching for. And that is simple information. You fill out the top portion. Next portion has to deal with I'm not going to get into a lot of detail because this will go on and on. And it is self-explanatory. It has information on how to fill it out. The second little tab at the bottom shows you where you put your receipts. You put the receipts listed in there. I'm going quickly so that it's, but like I said, we can always answer these questions for you. Total comes up automatically on here. This is where you also would put in mileage. It's all on there. But anyway, that's all I have to really show you, but just remember that it's to enhance your program a little bit, also to know that it's not a hardship for you as teachers. We don't want this to be a difficult thing for you to have to drive or etc. So talk to your administrative assistants and get the information that you need. And if you have questions on that, we're more than willing to help you with it in whatever ways that you need. Okay, yes.
digital forms or paper forms?
Well, it'll come to you in a Excel format, and if that's not available to you on your home computers or whatever, you can print it out and then do it by hand. And then a lot of times some of my teachers will just take a photo of it and send it back to me on an email, and that's fine. And then I can work it out. But if you can do it digitally on an Excel format and then just return it that way, that's actually the best, because then we can check it easier and that sort of thing. Okay, all right, thanks.
those of you who don't know me, I'm Sister Nehring, Laura Nehring. And while he's pulling up my screen, I just wanted to say something real quick. We are the administrative assistants. That means we assist. We are your assistants. So if you need help, I get lots of emails. I'm sorry to bother you. It's my job. Don't worry about it. You're not bothering us. The other thing I want to say is the church has had a huge overhaul recently of many of the different apps and websites that we use. Please pray for the developers. Okay, I know that you guys are experiencing problems with a lot of the things that you're using. We are too. We understand that there's things going on in the background that we don't know about. So if you're having difficulties, let us know, but just please pray for the developers if they need our help. So I want to show you attendance in WISE 2. I didn't take attendance yesterday, so I could show you exactly how to do this. This is my class. And the first page that comes up when you go in WISE 2 is the summary page. You'll see all your students' names, the student status. If you want to know what all these little icons mean, you just click on that little question mark. Like for real, there we go. And that'll come up and it'll show you whether there's a scheduling conflict, whether their parents need to sign the agreement, if they have days to make up, if there's some reason they're not going to be graduating because they've missed some classes in past years or something like that, that's all there. There's also, whoops, the attendance isn't show because it's a Saturday. But so I'm going to go to the second tab, which is the attendance tab. Okay, you'll notice that the calendar comes up on the side. You'll see a green check mark here on the side. That means that I fully took attendance on the previous 2 days, but there's nothing here on August 12th, meaning I did not take attendance. You'll notice that all of these are blank. On this side, can you see the cursor moving when I do that? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so over here, you see these are your, sorry, yours is not quite as sensitive as mine. You can see, you can mark people present, absent. If they've made up an absence, you can change that, tardy, or if they've made up their tardy. So one of the easiest ways to do this is, for example, there was only one of my students that was, or actually 2 students that were absent on Friday. I'm going to click their names. My own kid didn't make it the same. Okay. So I click there and then this says mark all unmarked. So I take the rest and hit present and click mark all unmarked and it marks everybody else present. So that's the fastest way to do it. The other thing I want to show you is, for example, the farther you get along in the semester, let's say that a new person comes into your class or you haven't taken attendance for a while or something like that, which please don't do that. Please take attendance at the very least weekly. It's very simple now, so it's please do it frequently. But let's see, I'll give you an example. So let's click on the student. Dialog box will pop up and you can see their entire attendance history. And so if you needed to do several, attendance for several, if they've made up a bunch of lessons or something from the semester, you can go back and you just click on the date and it'll fill in, and then, but you can change here what you're filling in, right? Does that make sense? Okay. If your student has made up lessons from prior years, you need to let us know that. We fix that. But if it's from this semester, you can go back and do just made up absence through the app. I just want to, oops, can't get to the X. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, I was trying to drag the other thing that wasn't working. The one other thing that I want to show you really quickly. Oh, sorry, I should have stayed in Andrew. Okay, under his name, it says view full profile. If you click there, you get the student's full information. The general information is just their name, birthday, that kind of thing. Church membership obviously shows what ward they're in, that kind of thing. Registration. If the parent agreement column is blank, that means their parents have not filled that out and they must do that. And they can do it on the My Seminary app, which Sister Walker will be talking about, or they can do it in a paper form if they need to, and just send that to me, take a picture, email it, mail it, whatever. Then the selected school year is where it's going to show up if the parents have gone into my seminary and registered. But over here is educational records. The transcripts have moved and they're now here. So you can see where your students need to do makeup work here. So that is where that's located if they need to do that makeup work, and you can go in and show them that. Okay, any questions? Awesome. All right. Oh,
Sorry.
yes.
I'm one of my students that's
That means that they've been scheduled into 2 classes. Because what I did with most classes was that if they were, freshmen last year, I just moved them into the sophomore class. If they were sophomores, I moved them up, you know what I mean? So, but it could be that they're attending somewhere else. They're going to attend a different class. So there's probably, they're enrolled in 2 classes. So just get with me about that and we'll figure out which is the right one and put them in the right one. So to hear this.
I was just going to say that some teachers we've had reported when they come to the screen that's blank. And often what needs to happen is up on the very top left-hand corner there where it says go, it's got the magnifying glass, is ask your AA what your program number is. You just type in that number and then it brings everything up. So that's been the main problem. There can be other issues, but that's the main. So don't panic if you're not seeing anything, just call your AA.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions?
So some of us haven't even been set up hard.
Right.
We haven't got a clue where to find this.
Okay, yeah, but that's a good point. One of the apps that has been being updated and is having a lot of problems right now is the main system that puts you into the system, right? So either if you haven't been set apart until your state clerk has put you into the system, we won't see you and we can't do anything. So if you're not in there, get on your state clerk, say, I need to be set apart. I need to be in the system, right? And then we can add you to WISE. We can add you to candidates for the new teacher trainings, all of that kind of stuff. They've got a backlog of hundreds of issues. And so we're just trying to needle them as much as we can to get to ours first. But, as soon as you get in there, make sure when you get set apart that your state clerk has put you in the system so that you show up and we can get you put into the classes. All right, I will turn the time over to Sister Walker.
We're going to start with the video. So when you shared, did you share with sound also?
Yep. Mhm.
Okay, awesome. All right. Good to be here. First of all, I have a little video here for you that we're going to share with you. It's just kind of a quick overview of the app. The app, when you go to it, we always call it My Seminary app. It's actually called the Seminaries and Institute app. But it's the same thing as the web's page, which is myseminary.churchofjesuschrist.org. You will notice that there's a recurring theme in a lot of our applications, and that is at the end with churchofjesuschrist.org, and which I always think is a cool reminder to me of who I'm working for in trying to help. Another thing, just from the administrative side, just kind of a reminder that while we as administrative assistants might be bugging you occasionally about, can you please mark your attendance? Can you remind the kids to mark their reading and all these things? It's not because we want to have, well, we do want to have good records, but it's what those records help us do. It's the information that those records help us communicate, whether we are communicating with high councilmen or the stakes or the bishops on how their youth are doing. It's one of our main communications that we have with parents, so parents can see how their youth are doing. This app, the Seminaries and Institute app, parents can go in there and you'll see, some of this. They can mark reading for their children if that needs to be done. Maybe they're reading together and they can go ahead and mark it. They can also see what their attendance has been. They can see if there's past semesters where they haven't earned credit. All of these things are right at the parents' fingertips, but only if we help them understand. that it's there. It's a wonderful tool. So this is a quick overview someone else put together, but I think it's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and watch this.
If you haven't already downloaded it, you can do so in your App Store. Type in Seminary and Institute, click download, then open, log in if you need to. And you can do get started or click settings. It will default to Seminary, but if you need another feature, you can choose it here. The various features for this app have been covered in a previous video. We are just going to concentrate on the second setting, readings. You can see here two percentages. The first one is the most important, current progress. It says that currently for this student, there's been 97 days of seminary in the term, and reading has only been done for 96 of those days. The other number is just a percentage of how many days there's been so far in the overall term. And that's not very important to what we're looking at today. And remember that when we're talking about days of the term, we're talking about all the days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all days, not just the days you meet for seminary. This is the most important number. We want that, well, we want that to be 100%, but it has to be at least 75% in order to get credit for seminary. The reason it's not is that we haven't yet marked today's reading. You can tap right there to record that you've done today's reading, and then you can see it brings you up to 100%. If, for whatever reason, you forgot to mark...
I'm just going to interject something for a second. One of the reasons we're showing you this right now is, as teachers, unless you have a child that's in seminary, you don't see this, okay? So it's helpful to know what the youth are seeing. The other thing that is I have found very helpful is have students in your class teach each other, because they will understand it better than you. But this gives you a quick overview of what's going on. And just another thing on the reading, as he goes through and continues, once again, it's not the 100% reading, but what we're trying to help the youth create a habit of is daily being in the scriptures. He's going to talk about some goals here in a minute, and the goals are individual. We, even us who can see a little bit more than you can, cannot see their student goals. And it may be, it varies from individual to individual, but when they're marking the reading, they're not marking that they've done the goal. This is an important distinction. They're marking that they've been in that book of scriptures that day. Okay. For example, Old Testament right now. They can read the Book of Mormon, but that doesn't count for seminary, for marking it off. But anyway, we'll continue with this.
Past days that you've read, you can click reading history. There's no need to click on past terms. I'll explain that at the end of the video. But click the current term. Now, for the purpose of this video, it's Book of Mormon, but this program will begin in January of 2021. So click the current term, and here you can see the various days that were marked. But let's say, for example, that you forgot to mark the weekend reading. You did the reading, but forgot to mark it. So just tap the dates, and it will bring you back up to your current standing. Here you can go back if you need to, or click graduation. Remember that you can use these tools anytime to find out how you're doing currently, and you can check the current year or past years. Let's take a look at the My Seminary website, myseminary.churchofjesuschrist.org. You'll find the same tools here. Reading ratio, which is how many days you've read out of how many days there have currently been in seminary, and here is your percentage. Click View Details, and you'll be able to mark your daily reading right here, and that will make your reading current. Now, why the percentage hasn't changed, I don't know, but we can see 98 out of 98. That is 100%. Over here, you can click for the current term progress, and it gives you a calendar like the app does. You can click on those days to fill in any days that you may have missed marking your reading. Now, I mentioned that I'd talk about past terms. If you try to click past terms here, it will give you this message. Due to a change in reading credit requirements, all students who attend seminary on or after this date, 2013, which essentially is anyone who is currently in seminary right now, through the end of this year, they've
this part doesn't really apply to us. I'm going to skip
100%
forward.
credit on their...
Basically, it's just saying that when they changed the reading policy, they changed it. They gave a grace period to seminary students that had already, go on. but starting in, it was January of was it 2021?
Yeah.
Okay, 2021, from then forward, they need to be doing, and makeup work will be available, but I'll just skip forward a little bit.
Want to read and in what way? Those are all programs that you can come up with for yourself. To help students accomplish these goals, let's take a look at the features from the student view, badges and goals. If you're starting at the beginning of the term, in this case, the Doctrine and Covenants, students will see this screen. Currently, the student has 36 days yet to read in order to reach the first badge at 37. This is the Bronze Shield. In order to reach that, a student would need to read 25% of the days of the term. In this case, it's 37 days. If a student reads 50% of the days of the term, that earns a Silver Shield. Gold is for 75%, and that's the number that students need in order to receive credit. But we would like students to reach 100%, and in that case, you get a Diamond Shield. These badges are intended to help motivate students to reach goals. Speaking of goals, at the top here you can see reading goals. To set a specific scripture reading goal, students can rotate options to choose verses, chapters, pages, minutes, hours, and the number they would like to associate with that. But that's only one approach. If you click here for write your own personal goal, students can record whatever goal they would like. By clicking the information button, students can view goal examples that can help to give them ideas. When a student is done setting their goals, they click accept and then OK, and you can go back to readings. On some phones, students may need to scroll up to get to the area where you can mark daily reading. And again, you can click here to look at the calendar. The My Seminary website functions very similarly for the student view. A student can view details, and that will take them to a similar screen that they saw before with the same features. Click Reading Goal, and here a student can enter the amount or period of time for the kind of goal they'd like to set, or they can type in a personal goal. Either one of those options will get you to this pop-up window. When helping students set goals, help them understand the intention of this program. Remember that just as our bodies remind us that we need daily nourishment, we need spiritual nourishment. When God fed the children of Israel as they wandered in the wilderness, He gave them manna daily. This was not just to nourish their physical bodies, but to remind them daily about God and His blessings to them, His power in their lives. Each of us needs that daily nourishment to our souls that studying the Word of God brings.
So with that, just a reminder, like when it said that they can write their own goals, or an example of that, which wouldn't be time related, but obviously they need to read every day to mark off reading. But one goal that they could do is they could have something like share on Facebook once a week, something that I learned from the scriptures, so it's not limited to them for what their goals are. The reading does need to be reading in the book of scripture, but that's it. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a peek real quick on what it looks like in my seminary. Now, he's logged in, and now obviously he doesn't have any children that are that age. I do have permission from this young lady's mother to go ahead and impersonate her. So I'll show you what it looks like in real time. And it's going to warn me that, I spelled her name wrong. That's right. And it's still not lit. Okay, so we're not going to show you that, which is fine. Basically what it is, they did show you on there, but you can go ahead and go through. They can mark where the reading is. In order to get to past days, this was not as intuitive. In order to get to past days, they scroll down to where it has the Old Testament, and they click on Old Testament, and then it opens up a calendar. Sometimes it takes students a little bit of time to figure it out, but if you remember that it's possible, they'll just keep clicking and find a way to do it, and then have them teach each other. Yes. Their goals can be anything, but as far as marking your reading, the marking of what they read, it needs to be, for example, right now, the course of study is the Old Testament. It needs to be from the Old Testament. Does that make sense? I mean, at least there've been some questions before, like, well, there's not very much reading. Can I read the Book of Mormon instead? Wonderful, read the Book of Mormon. But as far as marking it for seminary reading, you know, needs to have been some reading in the Old Testament. Okay. And if you have more questions on that, please ask your coordinator. They can explain the policy a little bit. Any other questions on this? We will be around afterwards to help you with it. Yes.
Last semester, there were a lot of problems with the app.
Okay, they're still working on it. Okay, when we were told to pray for them, literally pray for them. That's interesting in those meetings. You guys, I wish all of you could be at some of these meetings, but it's. Oh, the question was, are there still apps?
Can I ask for a quick?
Yes.
Real quick. The issue with the student app, oops, okay. Was solved by closing the app and starting at 99% of the
Most of the
time.
time, yes. Yeah.
In which case the browser.
Okay.
Have them pull it on the browser.
So in that, with that possibility, I do have here for you, you may each take one. This is a QR code. Some of you got the experience of trying it out with other things. This is a QR code to the website. My suggestion is for some of you, you can take this, it's on cardstock, and we'll also send out a copy digitally, whatever. Put it on your door. Have students just scan it as they walk in. They can mark their reading for the day before or for that morning or something like that. Get them in the regular habit of marking every day, and then they'll get more excited about being into it, and they'll gain more of it too. What we're trying to do is create a habit of daily scripture reading, a habit of relying on the Lord and knowing where to find answers. So we'll have these, I'll put these out on the table that you can have them. And any other questions, I'd be happy to address them afterwards, but and I'm done. Thanks.